I hate a lot of things, and I don't particularly like anything. In Team 7's introductions, Naruto said he liked ramen and wanted to become Hokage. Sakura was too flustered by Sasuke to speak, and Sasuke said something that a lot of people can relate to. I hate a lot of things, and I don't particularly like anything. Oftentimes, people are more vocal about what they dislike than what they like because it's easier to complain and see the bad in things. Therefore, this quote is very fitting for Sasuke, who never really had anything nice to say about anyone or anything throughout the series. I'll become Hokage. Becoming Hokage was always Naruto's dream, not Sasuke's. Sasuke's only dream was to kill his brother, and once he did that and found out the truth behind the Uchiha clan slaughter, he wanted to destroy Konohagakure. So everyone was in shock when Sasuke said in the middle of the Fourth Shinobi War that he wanted to become Hokage. At the same time, it isn't uncommon to have a change of heart in one's dreams. It might have been a foolish dream for a former enemy of Konohagakure, but Sasuke's declaration to become Hokage at least showed he no longer held a grudge against the village. You're actually worse than Naruto. Sasuke and Sakura have always had an interesting relationship. When they were first placed on Team 7 together, Sakura had such a huge crush on Sasuke that she acted out of desperation to get his attention. Prior to the Chunin exams, Sakura asked Sasuke if he wanted to spend time together. But unfortunately for Sakura, Sasuke had no interest in her whatsoever. Instead, he said she should focus more on her ninja training because she's worse than Naruto. Because Sakura is not the most well-liked character out there, many fans would agree with Sasuke's insult. Why do you always treat me like such a pest? Sasuke might have spent the majority of the series trying to kill his older brother Itachi, but the two Uchiha brothers were actually very close prior to the murder of their clan. And like any pair of siblings, they would bicker and tease one another. On the day that the Uchiha clan would be murdered, Sasuke asked his older brother to train with him. Itachi simply brushed aside his little brother's request, which made Sasuke upset. Sasuke asked Itachi why he treats him like a pest, but Itachi's response was a jab to Sasuke's forehead. Like Sasuke, many people have at some point felt like they were treated as an annoyance by their siblings, peers, or family members. I don't know. My body just moved. There was no time to think. In their battle against Haku, Sasuke and Naruto found themselves trapped inside Haku's crystal ice mirrors. Although the two Team 7 members had trained endlessly prior to that all-important battle on the bridge, they were still having a difficult time keeping up with Haku. In what seemed to be a no-win situation, Sasuke jumped in front of one of Haku's attacks to protect Naruto. When Naruto asked why he did that, Sasuke, while dripping in blood, said he didn't know why and that his body moved on its own. In reality, Sasuke did it because he truly cared about his friend but didn't want to admit it. My body just moved is the perfect excuse for anyone trying to avoid sharing their true feelings or motives. This is the path I walk. Not you or anyone can change that. From the time Itachi took out the Uchiha clan, Sasuke's one goal was always to get revenge by killing his older brother. He would do whatever it took to achieve that goal, even if it meant resorting to evil and the life of a criminal. Once Sasuke received the curse seal from Orochimaru in the Forest of Death, he got a taste of the power he could obtain if he went to the dark side. Sakura, on the other hand, was concerned for Sasuke with his curse seal and urged him to forfeit in the third part of the Chunin exams. Wanting to keep fighting and growing stronger, Sasuke hushed his teammate by declaring that no one can get between him and his goals. This is something that people with true ambition and dreams can relate to. I'm trembling with Excitement. In their first major battle as ninja, Team 7 faced off against Zabuza. Because Zabuza was an extremely dangerous opponent far beyond Team 7's abilities as genin, Sasuke was noticeably frightened with good reason. But after they defeated Zabuza the first time and trained hard in the Land of Waves, Sasuke gained more confidence going into their next battle with both Zabuza and Haku. When Zabuza pointed out that Sasuke was still trembling in fear, Sasuke corrected him, smirking while saying he was trembling with excitement. Whether Sasuke was bluffing or really meant it, it's common to exert confidence as a way to mentally prepare oneself. If that's how it is, I'll just have to sever that bond. After Sasuke made the decision to flee Konohagakure to seek out more power with Orochimaru, Naruto and his friends were tasked with the mission to bring the missing Uchiha back before it was too late. Luckily, Naruto was able to catch up to Sasuke at the Valley of End. In Sasuke's constant struggle to choose between his friends and revenge, Sasuke decided that his friends were only holding him back and that he needed to sever his bond with Naruto in order to achieve more power. Anyone who has ever had a toxic friendship can relate to severing bonds with those who only held them back from reaching their true potential. First thing in the morning, and they're already driving me nuts. For Sasuke, being a part of Team 7 meant dealing with the everyday antics of his teammates, Naruto and Sakura, and their teacher, Kakashi. Because Kakashi had a tendency of being late, Naruto and Sakura would often bicker as Sasuke had no other choice but to listen while waiting for their teacher. Sasuke's annoyance prompted him to say his teammates were driving him nuts, which is totally relatable. Whether it's in school, sports, or work, there will always be teammates whose personalities don't click with one another, often resulting in at least one person being annoyed. How could I lose to that freak? When Rock Lee was first introduced into the series, he came across as a bit of a freak to everyone in Team 7, including Sasuke. Things got interesting, however, when Lee challenged Sasuke to a match right before the Chunin exams. Because Sasuke had just recently awakened his Sharingan, he was confident he could defeat any other genin like Lee. But unfortunately for Sasuke, Lee's hard work and mastery of taijutsu was more than the Sharingan could handle, and Sasuke ended up losing. Like anyone who had ever gone into a challenge feeling overconfident, Sasuke was left frustrated and shocked by his loss to a freak. I can see no reason why she would love me. Unfortunately for fans of the Sasuke and Sakura pairing, their path to marriage was not an easy one and many people still have doubts about their relationship. But even Sasuke didn't understand why Sasuke would love him. He was too cocky to say this out of low self-esteem, but because he truly didn't understand why Sakura would want to be with him when he was never exactly kind to her. That said, for many people in real life, we have all had our moments of self-doubt. Even if I must take the devil's fruit, I must gain power. I am an avenger. This particular quote might not seem like something you would hear in your regular life, but in this case, it certainly applies to those of us who went through a dark or edgy emo phase in our younger years. Sasuke is so dramatic. Often his quotes are far more intense than they need to be in the majority of his conversations or his monologues. This is a great example of that. It's something someone in real life might say when making fun of someone else or being extremely mock-serious. I see I don't even understand even one of these problems. This particular Sasuke quote has been made into a meme over the years from people who can completely relate to Sasuke's supposed confusion over his exam. In reality, the scene was the beginning of the Chunin exams and Sasuke was actually being smart since he deduced that the written exam was actually about information gathering rather than getting correct answers. He realized he was supposed to cheat. But out of context the quote just seems like Sasuke is confident in not knowing any answers on his test, and we've all been there. Because that which is destroyed can always be fixed and rebuilt. A lot of Sasuke's quotes have different meanings depending on the context that you read them in. Some of his quotes actually have villainous and evil origins, especially when his intentions were to essentially kill everyone and destroy the known shinobi world. In this quote, though, it has an uplifting message, even if he might not have meant it that way at the time. It is a nice thought to consider that broken things, destroyed things can be fixed and they can be rebuilt and grow even better over time. It's not the future I dream of anymore. Only the past. In the moment Sasuke says this, he is referring to the fact he constantly thinks about his past and his vendetta against Itachi for killing his family. While that aspect we might not all be able to relate to, but many of us have felt the pain that comes with focusing solely on the past. It can be harmful and damaging to become obsessed with the past, whether because we miss it or we're nursing regrets. It can cloud our path to the future.